welcome to week 6 of, week 6 of this class semester I've been running. So this is week 6 of our head drawing adventure. We've been learning a lot. We started with Loomis heads. We moved to drawing skulls. Then we moved to drawing the simple Asaro head. Then we moved to drawing the Riley method rhythms. And now we're on the Asaro head. If you're new to this class, don't feel worried. Don't feel worried. You're going to be able to jump right in and draw from observation on this thing. And I'll show you some basic things you can start with on breaking this down. This is a very complex thing right here. Everything that we've been doing in this class has been leading up to this point. So all the stuff we did previously will help you with drawing this guy. If you notice, there's bits and pieces of the things that we've been drawing up to this point that have gone into this drawing of it right here. Here, I'll do a Cintiq focus. But this is your new friend for the next month or so. That big guy on screen right there, that 3D model here. This is your new pal. This is the Asaro head. It's by an artist named John Asaro, and it's a really essential tool for understanding the planes of the face. I'm actually doing a donation drive right now to get a physical version of that thing. They go for about 110 bucks or so. I think I put or 115 bucks. I've added a little bit extra to my donation goal, which I'll put up on screen here. My current donation goal right now is the Asaro head in my Ko-fi page, which I will be getting. I want to get a physical copy of so I can start photographing it for the class, and also of course practicing from it myself, so I can understand it better and do better demos from it for future sessions. What we're going to be doing this session. Oh, and you can donate. If we do these classes for free, but every little bit counts to help. If you want to send donations my way, or the way of any of the instructors that classes you like, check out their donation links in the classroom tip jar section on our Discord. But I'll link my Ko-fi page in chat. That's the best way to donate to me. You can also subscribe to me on Twitch, or send me bits on Twitch, and that also helps me there too. In the future, I might have a Patreon or something like that. I'm thinking of doing some kind of system for guaranteed critiques or something for certain people, for a certain number of people that are on a certain tier of my Patreon or something like that. And I'll probably make the PSD and Clip Studio Paint files available. And I also want to give a shout out and a thanks to the people who helped me make my last two donation goals. My last two donation goals were a backup hard drive. I'm getting a 6 terabyte hard drive that I'm going to be installing in my PC later this week, that I'll be able to use for backups and backup storage and stuff, so I don't lose all my files. And the other thing that I'm getting is I'm getting a annual subscription to Adobe Creative Cloud from an Adobe Creative Cloud key license reseller. So I'll be able to use Photoshop and Adobe Animate and other software throughout the excuse me. I apologize. Snow. All right, sorry about that. So that's something I had to deal with real quick. All right, so I'll be able to use Adobe Animate and other Adobe software throughout the college semester. Or, excuse me, not the college semester, the class semester. That was a housemate. But yeah. Anyway, so I need to put a radio, put a on the air sign out front of my room so that people don't know not to step in when I'm filming this stuff. But yeah, anyway, so what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be doing 25-minute drills of the Asaro head from different angles. We're going to start with the front. We're going to also do the profiles, and we're going to be doing 3/4 on either side. Now, if you notice the thing about the Asaro head, Yeah, an on-air sign would be a good donation goal, for sure. So if you notice, the way that this is designed is like one side is a little bit more simplified and the other side is more complex. One side is a little bit more like a younger person or a female face, and the other side is a little bit more like a masculine person or an older male face. But I mean, honestly, this is very androgynous, so it could apply either way. You can use the basic structures of this as a point of reference and understanding for any type of face. You just modify it as you need it. But the reason why this tool is so great is because it really emphasizes like very important parts of the face that you need to understand, and you can get really in the nitty-gritty on it. There's like the way how the eye is structured here, for example, on the complex side, and the way the nose is structured here. And you can compare that to the other side here, but you see the very simplified planes of the way the eye is situated in the orbit on the simple side, and the way the nose is structured here. And I've actually studied from these physically in real life, going back to my college days and even before then, actually. So getting a physical version of this for me will be a return to my basics again, for sure. But for the time being, we have this Sketchfab model here and a couple other ones. I will link this one in chat. Let's see. Whoops. Let's see, collections. I've linked this before from last week, but this is my collections page of Sketchfab stuff. I think the Asaro head is, yeah, that Asaro head is there. There's a few different versions of it. They're lit somewhat differently, and some of them are varying quality. Like, I think we might use. We're probably going to stick with this one to start with. But the main thing you want to get out of like these is you want to make sure that they are very clearly lit, and you can see the planes easily. Like the ones that we were messing with the simple Asaro head last week were kind of ambiguously lit. This one has a little bit of that going on here from how it's lit, but I mean it's a lot clearer than the other one we were on last week. But anyway, so those of you who might be a little bit lost as to what you're supposed to do with this thing, you're supposed to use it. You're supposed to use it as a comparative measuring device. Like, you start with your basic forms of your head, and you try gradually working in from big shapes to smaller stuff, and comparing the different lines and stuff and the rhythms that connect with each other on the planes of this head. You're able to like find landmarks of comparison on this guy to orient yourself and understand the angles of stuff, like the angle of how the cheek is there, connecting and intersecting there, and how the side plane of the head connects and intersects to the brow, and so on. And you can correlate this stuff to what we've been studying in the Riley method with it, for example. Let's see if we can try to get like one of these that isn't. Whoops. One of these that isn't too distorted for this. But I mean, the distortion shouldn't matter too much. In hindsight, maybe I should have uploaded this into a 3D modeling program for this, but I think we still should be able to work with this. If worse comes to worse, I can put up screenshots of Asaro head that might show like different angles that we can draw from. Main thing is I'm concerned about the warping that goes on from the camera angle that's used there. So here, I'm taking a peek real quick at a Google image search to see if we can find some handy reference for this. But otherwise, I mean, we should be okay with this. This is not a terrible angle. Let's try to see if we have any better stuff. Oh, here we go. Yeah, there's a portrait practice sheet here that somebody graciously took photos of an actual physical Asaro head. A well-used one, I might add. I can see smears of paint on this. This has been taken to painting classes numerous times, it looks like. So let's save this. Let me see what resolution this is. This will work, I think. Yeah. But honestly, like comparing the just be aware that there is some warping going on here. If we were to use this, I would say that we might want to stick with this one. But anyway, I'm going to share a couple other things real quick before we get into drawing these. I wanted to give a little preview of what is going to be, what I'm toying with for next semester in the classes that we teach through Ethan Becker's Discord. Oh, also I forgot to start. I went to the trouble finding my music and I forgot to start it. Here we go. Alright, so this is some little thumbnails I was doing when I was brainstorming a little bit before class. Like, I have a Google Docs that I've been continually adding to for the last couple weeks of ideas for stuff, but this is like some thumbnails of some stuff I want to go over on like how to set up, how people should set up their tablet or their traditional drawing displays when they're doing studies and stuff. I'm not going to really go into huge detail on this. This is mostly notes for myself, but next semester is going to be a partly physical semester, in that like people who are able to get a hold of drawing, people who are able to get a hold of like drawing pads and drawing boards and benches and stuff would be best off for the way that we're going to be doing this stuff. But there's other solutions too, like you can tilt a if you have a large Cintiq, you can tilt that vertically in portrait mode and use an ergotron arm or something along those lines to achieve the same effect as a figure drawing horse. Now, or you can use the edge of your desk with a drawing board like this. And what is a figure drawing horse, you might be wondering? Well, a figure drawing horse you'll often see in figure drawing classes. They are also known as figure drawing benches. They look like, whoops, 1 second. They look like this guy right here, although they don't necessarily even have to have the little hinges like this one has. I think this one's a collapsible one, that might be why, yeah. But you'll see like art students like all using them like this, usually. There's a painter using it. These are collapsible ones. But the thing about these is you can actually build these yourself. So there is a page that I found years ago that I actually used to build the figure drawing bench that I'm looking at right now. It's right in front of the television screen that's next to me. And here, let me see here. I'm going to link the site for this in chat. But it's an old site. But this is the guide that I used to build a figure drawing horse. Just like this. Just like this. This is all the measurements and everything you need. You can go to Home Depot and make one of these yourself. And I strongly recommend making it a DIY project to do. And of course the way you can use it is you can set up still lifes in front of it. You can have figure models or have one of your relatives or friends sit in front of it, or of course, an actual figure model if you are so inclined to hire a figure model to pose for you. You can do stuff like this. I've made like an Asaro head on a tripod right here, which is one way that I would be using it myself when I get hold of a Asaro head. Yeah. You can also use like a Chromecast dongle in the back of your TV set, which I've used before to play videos from YouTube or photos from Google Photos or something like that of the reference that you're going to be drawing in time reference poses. And that's something that I've been able to do with a reasonably sized television screen. But really you can do it with any kind of reference and stuff. And of course, we'll go over some more of that next semester and so on. Some stuff on materials and so on. I'll be going over that too in the future, but we're not going to be too worried about that for today. What we're mainly going to be focusing on in a little bit is getting back to the Asaro head. Or getting into the Asaro head, rather. So I'm going to actually have I'm going to set up the Asaro head over here. So the particular pose that we want to draw is ready to go. We're going to start with straight on. Whoops. Why is it? It seems to be lower than 1080p resolution, the monitor at the side of the screen here. No, it's 1080p. I wonder what's going on with it. Scale and layout. Okay. It's increasing the scale and layout size, that's why. Alright. That was really weird. Anyway. So this is the guy that we're going to be drawing first right here, the straight on one. And we're not going to be doing any up and down head tilt ones, but I will give a quick preview of what the homework is. Let's see here. So your homework this week is going to be doing, I think it's like 5 poses total. Turnaround of the Asaro head, like two poses of profiles that are the simple and complex side, 2 poses of the head 3/4 that are simple and complex side, and then 1 straight on. And in addition to that, I want you to also utilize this thing the same way that I had to utilize the Riley rhythms last week, which is practice it throughout the week. And you don't have to. You can do quickie, simple studies where you just use a few of the Asaro head structure elements. Maybe you have photos of the Asaro head handy on your phone, on your iPhone or something, and you have something to draw on when you're waiting at the doctor's office or something, and you spend maybe about 15 minutes to a half hour when you're busy with other things to quickly do quick doodle practice of the Asaro head. They don't have to be perfect, little quickie drawings and stuff, just kind of ways to memorize stuff. You can go through doing those kinds of things really quickly. You pick up on 1 or 2 of the structures of the Asaro head or something, and you do those. But then when you come home later and you want to get more directed practice, the amount of time you should be aiming to spend on each of these is a half hour to an hour. So with that in mind, I'm going to post this image I found in chat, and somebody already linked the Sketchfab for the Asaro head. I'm going to recommend that newbies should be aiming to spend around an hour on each of the head poses per attempt. Try to aim for around an hour. In the case of this, that means as we go through these, when we start with the straight on, you might do 2 sessions of just that straight on using the reference that you have handy before you move on to the next one. But as you get faster at doing these, from understanding them better or feeling more comfortable with it, you can speed it up to half hour. But if it's your first time doing these ever, I would recommend sticking to around an hour per head pose. So, that in mind, let me just check how much time it is. We are going to start on doing these in about 10 minutes, so I'm just going to have everyone just kind of warm up. Right now, that's kind of what I'm doing. I'm doing kind of the sketchy Asaro heads that I would do quickly, just for my own benefit and stuff in my sketchbook or something. or when I'm not really thinking or focusing too much. Because this is a tool. You want to get loose with this, and then there's times when you want to like really concentrate and bring your A game to try to really like hunker down and do a good job on these. That's kind of generally the approach that you want to take when you're practicing and learning drawing, because like you can't zero your concentration in all the time, but you also want to cultivate the times when you can zero in and concentrate, and where you can be anal retentive about getting stuff right. The more of these you do, and the more you self-discipline on the longer ones of these to do them better and better with each attempt, the better you'll get. You'll be able to bring your A game when you need to do other work, like if you're doing an art commission or something. If you discipline yourself in practice sessions like this, not even just with the Asaro head, but just in general. There's times when you want to kind of loosen up, and because that helps with the memorization process of practicing things in a micro and using it to play, using it freely, so that it's not something intimidating. And then times when you do concentrate and you zero in and you try to be more accurate and so on. Like, I'm not even worried about accuracy here. I'm just trying to play with some of the Asaro head ideas a little bit for these quickie loose warm-ups that I'm doing right now. Like, these are invented head poses that are using some of the Asaro head stuff. And when you do these, you can kind of like strategize about how to memorize them. It's the same way with the Riley method heads. It's the same way with everything else that you'll be studying. Don't worry about my drawing screen for now, because this is just a loose warm-up. But I guess I probably could shift it over there, like so. Here where I need it. I don't have the most convenient setup right now for dragging stuff across from monitor to monitor. Yeah, I would recommend like using Blender or Maya or whatever to if there's like a free Sketchfab model of the Asaro head for you to download it there, and then try to use a narrow focus lens on it. That will give you a really flat, non-warped Asaro head. It's better if you can find a variety of good photographs and stuff, but if you can turn around in the Asaro head in real time to kind of check angles and stuff, and through one of those 3D drawing maps, that definitely helps. That's also why it's great to get a physical copy of the Asaro head. That's what I'm doing with my donation goal right now, so that I can get a copy of that for myself to improve my drawing demo capability, and also share it with some useful photographs from you guys. I might even try something crazy like stream a webcam of an Asaro head I have lit, and then change the pose for the camera on the tripod it's mounted on. But the big thing about this is you shouldn't feel intimidated by it. I mean, it's going to be tough, and there's going to be frustration. Like, you're going to be like, oh shit, I made this part too big. Oh shit, this part doesn't connect with this very well. Oh shit, this or that is going wrong. But the more of these you do, the more of these you screw up, And the more of these you screw up and stuff and take something away from about why it was screwed up and try to fix them, the better you'll get at these. And the better you get at these, the better you'll get at being able to solve problems in real people's heads. Or cartoon character heads, for that matter. Or just like any kind of heads. Like, after doing this for a while, like drawing anime head character design is relatively easy mode, for example. Like this, getting this right is harder than drawing most anime heads, with some exceptions of ones that are really remarkably well designed or complex and require a high degree of draftsmanship. This is a tool for understanding the dimensionality of the head. That's the main takeaway from this stuff. So let's see, we got about 3 more minutes before we're going to be started doing the time poses. I left this image up here, and I'm going to keep it up here and do a focus on it when we shift over to actually drawing, doing the time poses. We'll be doing 25-minute sessions on each of the head poses. I'll be talking through some of what I'm struggling with, because I'm doing this to study and learn too. Like I'm not a qualified art instructor by any stretch. I'm studying and learning with the rest of you, using these tools that are going to help me get better and start you guys, if you haven't done this before, on the path to getting better. And of course give mileage workout to people here who are more experienced and who are looking to get an art workout in right now. So I'll check a few questions in chat. Let's see here. Jakudev is asking some questions. Can we use a ruler to do the Asara head if we do it traditionally? You can, but honestly I think the best way to do it is to do sight-size relationships. And you can use, if you're doing it on screen or on paper, you can sight size it with your thumb and forefinger, or use your pencil to measure. You can check angles with your pencil too. You want to use stuff like the rule of thirds. Well, I'll touch on that a little bit as I'm doing some of these. But yeah, also like I would print out a copy of some of this stuff, like of the page I linked in chat. Like print out a couple copies of that, maybe paste them around the place, and keep one in your drawing sketchbook or like somewhere on you on the go. Or you can load it on like a sidebar in Procreate or something, like a secondary app window on your iPad to practice these when you're on the go. And you can of course do that for anything you practice. But you want to get this stuff second nature. So this guy, the reason I said that that the Asara head is going to become our friend is because guess what? Guess what, buddies? We're going to be drawing from this guy for the next month. I'm going to be repeating a lot of stuff in the next semester of the head drawing stuff we did, like starting from the basics, but I'm also going to be layering on top of what we studied previously. So there'll be avenues for people who are who are beginners next semester, and there's going to be avenues for more experienced people to build on what we already studied. And I noticed like there's one thing I'm going to be fighting this session and in my practice throughout the week. If you notice, I have a really bad habit of making the lower part of the face bigger than the top. So I have to really watch that. The features often get too big and ballooned up when I do that too, so I have to really be careful of that. That actually was a bad habit I had when I was first starting to practice the Asara head, so this is kind of like retreading old ground. So we will be starting the official timer for the poses in about 1 minute. Let me see here. Can you explain what you're doing to a drawing? Like you start with it. Yeah, I start with basically. I'm going to be starting when I do these with basically with the same Loomis head that we've been using since the start of doing our head drawing sessions, and I'll talk through that a little bit for some of the newbies here. So, like the newer people, I'll do a quick Loomis head here. So this is the Loomis head. The Loomis head is, you start with a sphere, you add another circle within the sphere, and essentially works like a Loomis head is a sphere with the sides chopped off like that. You start like that, cut a line across the center like that. In this case, there's a line going across that side plane that was chopped off the side of the sphere, and now it's wrapping over the sphere here. Find the top of the head like that, wrap that over there. So this is a Loomis head that's staring straight on at us, and if we can approximate about where the brow is, about here, we can start measuring by rule of thirds, or the hairline in the brow right there. Then we measure down to here. I'll do that. Then we use that measurement to measure about here for the bottom of the nose, top of the brow, about there. It's a little long actually. Probably go right up here. It's about here. We measure another third down to the from the bottom of the nose to the bottom of the chin. And we can use the side planes to kind of find the chin and find the sides of the cheeks and approximate the jaw. And in this case, on this side, we can use this measurement right here, creating the diagonal line across this little kind of crisscross pattern over that cut-off side plane there. That gives us our rule of thirds measurement again. Of course, this is happening on the side here, so it's going to be like this. So your basic Loomis head is something along these lines. I'm not happy with the angle of that jaw. It's more a little more like this, I would say. Jaws look a little funky. But I mean, that's the basic idea of the Loomis head. Wow, yeah, I think my tendency to make the jaws a little big is starting to bleed over into my Loomis heads. I wasn't doing that weeks ago. Something off in my visual gauging that I'm going to have to maybe start accounting for more. Or maybe going back to a review of Loomis heads in future sessions would help me with that. But anyway, so when you're doing these, you can start with something along these lines. And if you're new to this kind of thing, you can just stick in this area and maybe add a few of kind of what you're seeing the Asaro head doing with some of the planes. So you don't have to worry about being a perfectionist on these, especially if you're new to this. But anyway, we're going to get started right now. So I'm going to create a new layer. And okay, Google, set timer for 25 minutes.
Alright, 25 minutes. Starting now.
And here's the reference focus page. Let me know if that's a good size. I'm going to get started on my demo, of this while the rest of you are also drawing. And we will work on these together. So when you start the Loomis heads, you should generally start them with the simplest shapes, the simplest underlying shapes of when you start the Asara heads, you should start within a simple approximated underlying shape. Like, you don't have to be perfect. You should try to kind of approximate and gauge about where this stuff is. You start, of course, with you can start a source usually with a Loomis head, which is kind of what I'm doing here. But it doesn't have to be perfect. You're trying to engage yourself visually doing this and correlate the different 3D shapes you're looking at. So don't beat yourself up about not being perfect with doing these studies. You'll get better at them the more of them you do. That it's designed this way. This Loomis head is designed to kick your butt because it simplifies the stuff that would kick your butt when you're trying to draw a real person's face. Simplifies it into a way that's a little bit easier to understand, and that you can start to intuit into real people's faces when we move on to real people's faces. And we're going to be moving on to real people's faces next semester too. We're going to be covering features. We're going to be revisiting this stuff and the earlier stuff, because we're going to be repeating back to basic stuff to reinforce it. And we'll be building off of it. That means features, that means head tilts, that means more complex heads, and drawing from real heads more. So I'm just kind of approximating where the stuff should be. I'm going to be using some of my knowledge of the Riley rhythms a little bit to kind of help guide me a little bit with doing this guy, because the Riley methods apply to this guy too. Stuff that we were covering last week, which is also on YouTube, in my YouTube page that I've uploaded it to, which if you click my profile on Discord, you will be able to go to my YouTube page. So yeah, we're going to be, everyone should be aiming to be drawing this guy regularly for like at least the next month, maybe more. Like regularly. I want you to maybe bust this guy out throughout the week or more, if you find you can devote a lot of time to really kind of mastering drawing this guy. It's also okay to, sometimes you'll find draftsmen who draw studies of the Asara head really, really well. You can copy from those. I actually have a cheat sheet here that I'm referring to as I draw this. That is a actual drawing of the Asara head that's also helping me ground things, but I'm not exactly copying it. I'm trying to kind of interpret it a bit and combine it with the photo reference we have on screen right now. So my eyes are going back and forth between like the two things that I'm referencing right now. So if anyone has any questions, either in Twitch chat or here, please repeat them for me if you want to get my attention again. I'm going to be checking the chat windows periodically. So also another thing about these, don't rush them. I'm kind of like revisiting these guys. So I have a tendency to rush them because I need to really I need to really gauge myself. And I need to get more drawing mileage back under my belt so I can slow down. And that's just how it goes. Like, sometimes you need to recalibrate yourself at your own, and figure out what your pace is for your studying, and when you're trying to get good value out of how you're absorbing information. If you can get a good, one thing I will say, like, if you are in good shape practicing these guys, and I've been in good shape on practicing these guys before, from a live one, by the way, it becomes like a Zen state. Like, this thing relates to this thing relates to this, oh, I see it now. And you start to, like, feel like you're in the zone on understanding what you're looking at. And the same thing can happen when you're doing human heads and stuff. If you regularly practice this stuff, like, that's what we all want to aim for with this regular practice of being able to periodically enter the zone where, like, all the stuff we've studied starts coming together because it's starting to become intuitive, and then we have these periods of where we're, like, firing on all mental cylinders and it's all working, and that takes time to engineer that happening. Like, there's going to be periods when, like, the endorphins are kicking off in your brain and, like, you're able to think through stuff a lot better than you normally would. And if you've clocked in the hours of studying, those moments will get a lot more value for you in producing good work, because you will have more muscle and dexterity to work, muscle knowledge and dexterity to work from when you're in that flow state. Because you can get into that flow state at any level with your of your artistic ability. Because that flow state is not exclusive to somebody who studies versus somebody who does not. It's it's those times when you're feeling confident, and when, like, the chemistry in your brain is just right. It's like the reward centers of your brain are rewarding you for learning, or helping you like cognitively work through something. But you'll be able to do that at a much higher level when you're in that flow state. The more of this you do, and you'll be able to induce that flow state, or even draw well when you're not in that flow state. Like, if you doing this kind of stuff gives you grounding to be able to solve drawing problems even on days that you are having off days. Let's see how I did. Oh dear, I made that same problem, didn't I? Bottom half of this is much bigger than the top half. I did it again. I'm wondering what is causing that. Let's see if I can correct that, though. So, on some of my earlier drawings today, when I was warming up for this, I was actually, like, clipping and resizing things because I wanted to see what would happen if I did that. But that's a habit you should maybe try to avoid if you're digital drawing, because it can become a crutch. I was conscious of how, yes, this could be used as a crutch, but I wanted to see what would happen if I stitched the stuff, to see what's going wrong with my sense of proportions, and maybe nudging it here is going to get it. Maybe nudging something here or there and bumping something up in size and stitching it is going to help with that. Help me see what is going wrong. But it's become very clear to me that I have a big blind spot right now, and I'm going to have to work on that throughout this week. So I think that blind spot might possibly affect my figure drawing too. Like a blind spot like that can sometimes like make your figures top heavy or bottom heavy or something if you're not careful. But I mean, when you mess up, I'm doing the equivalent of, like, if it was in a traditional drawing class, instead of lowering opacity, I might like take my kneaded eraser and rub down what I drew over previously, and then make fixes like this. But again, like, the more of these you do, these are designed to kick your butt. The more of these you do, the better you'll get at them. Just trust in them. Try to wrap your head around what you're drawing. Like, you're not going to be making perfect drawings, especially if this is your first time being exposed to the complex Asaro head, the complex classic Asaro head. You want to treat this like you just bought a set of weights, almost. And this is your art weightlifting. And you're going to build that art muscle, that visual gauging ability from doing these. It's going to expose your mistakes, your shortcomings, and you want that. You want to see what your mistakes and shortcomings are so you can improve on them. It's going to increase your manual dexterity because you'll be seeing how you'll be seeing and trying to problem solve how to go from this line to that line and flow this line into that line and so on from doing these over and over. You'll start to see like how this thing fits together, almost kind of like you have a jigsaw puzzle in front of you, and you're sort of learning how to fit the pieces together. And of course, you'll combine it with other stuff you're studying too. Like, you might go from this to studying a bunch of realistic heads, or a bunch of well-drawn, well-executed anime heads, or like Disney character heads or something, and seeing how the planes of the face relate to those. So all this stuff is interconnected. And the point of doing this is to exercise the ability to make those connections. And to understand what you're seeing and break it down. But like, this is Asaro head is a friend you can trust to keep coming back to study from. And it's a thing you can use at just about any level of your artistic ability. Like, we could have started our head drawing sessions just like straight into Asaro head. Like, some of the newbies here, I said earlier, like, might be a little bit I implied earlier that this might be a little advanced for them. Not necessarily. You can start straight away with an Asaro head, with trying to learn the Asaro head. But learning that other stuff first and building up into a SAR head is a pretty darn good way to get better results by the time you actually do get to the SAR head, because there's a lot of stuff underlying it that becomes easier to understand if you have walked through stuff that's less complex than this. But for the beginners, I would suggest trying to keep things simple. Like, you don't have to draw every single polygonal thing. Like, try to keep it to the big stuff. Maybe you want to favor drawing on the simple side of the SAR head here. You can try. You maybe don't have to draw every single line or every single plane. Just try to get most of it, and try to get what you're struggling with to start with. So this guy's still looking a little bit distorted, but I'm working on it some more. And some good news. It looks like my dedicated RAM just arrived. Yes, it did. My Corsair 2 sticks of 16 gigabyte, 32 gigabytes of RAM, 3600 megahertz Vengeance LPX Corsair RAM just arrived in the mail. And here it is. I'm going to put it over here by my PC build stuff. So I'm building a new art PC that's going to be coming in great handy this next semester. I had a budget to work with, and people who helped me make my donation goals helped me get additional things I needed. I needed to get a Windows 10 Pro license, which is part of what's being included in the Adobe Creative Cloud thing that I'm buying, and they helped me get a backup hard drive that I'm going to be installing in this puppy. But yeah, dedicated WAM. My dedicated WAM arrived. But yeah, I'm looking forward to my butt being kicked by the SAR head over and over again, because I know this for a fact. After I did tons of SAR heads when I was in art school, I got really good at the head. I want to get back to that point again, and it's going to take I haven't drawn the SR head in years. Well, no, that's not true. I did draw it some this year and last year, and I think the year before, but it wasn't like really dedicated like this. But I want to commit to this, and part of that is one of my next donation goal is going to be getting an SR head. Mounting on a tripod, take lots of photographs for everyone. You might even try the experimental webcam thing, where I have I make like an SR head set, and then I put it in front of a webcam, on my lap, whatever webcam works. Like, I have a few potential things I can use around here, and then we do live feed SR heads. When I do that, I'm actually thinking of setting up something, if I do traditional stuff, setting up some kind of a webcam feed of my drawing pad. Yeah, my line quality sucks too, to answer Jakku in the Discord chat. I'm lacking in confidence, so I'm going over my lines a lot. That's something I want to address in the future, and a good tool for addressing line quality, by the way, is the SR head, because as you start getting more confident in the SR head, you're going to be drawing cleaner, fewer lines, and more confident lines. Okay, Google, how much time left on timer?
You've got 5 minutes and 41 seconds left.
Good. So in the last 5 minutes, like those of you who are further along, maybe take the time to kind of assess what you did so far. See what you did right and wrong. Maybe if you have something you can erase with, you can lightly erase it in an area where you're still able to see what you're erasing over. Or if you're working digitally, you can lower opacity or something. And try maybe fixing something, seeing if there's any stuff, any errors that you think could be fixed. And if you got a lot wrong, don't agonize about it. Just figure out what went wrong. I would try to maybe target the big stuff first. Like, let me zoom back from this guy. Think about what I did here. There are still some proportional issues going on with this. I also did not measure by rule of thirds, so there's some proportional issues here and there that are kind of throwing things off a bit. But it is better than it was before I added the top part of the head there. This is also by no means a perfect Asara head, and nor should it be. So this is just a half-hour drawing of me coming back, getting used to drawing this guy again. Yeah, I can actually add a little bit more to the top of the head, I think. Might be why the bottom is still looking bottom heavy. Yeah, making the jaw bottom heavy, or the head top heavy. It's one of those proportional issues that is going to come up again and again. Sometimes your eye goes out of tune, or starts to see things a certain way that you don't mean it to. And you have to account for those things, and you can do that by measuring stuff, like I just did. That's actually looking a little better. I think that the sides of the cheeks, and I think the sides of the cheeks could be raised a bit like that. Like this. Bottoms of the ears could maybe come down a bit. But I mean, this guy, like, when you get more into it and you get more comfortable with making lines for it, is a lot like you're making a 3D model on the page. Doesn't have to be a perfect one either, too. But you have a 3D model on the page, basically. A 3D polygonal model. Hence all the vaporwave that we've been going over. Like, this guy is kind of like a polygonal head from a piece of 1990s animation. That's why we have the John Asara aesthetic for this theme of this session. But yeah, okay Google, how much time left on timer? Okay Google, how much time left on timer?
You've got 2 minutes and 8 seconds to go.
Alrighty. Take a look at my dedicated RAM again. Man, this stuff is small. I got the low profile RAM, so my my Noctua, my big ass Noctua DH15 cooler could make clearance with it. But I got two sticks of RAM, so I can potentially expand to more RAM later. I'll be running it in dual channel. Yeah, the only thing left to arrive the only things left to arrive is the backup drive, which I don't need right away, and the extra fans, which I also don't need extra case fans, which I also don't need right away, and some cosmetic case covers I'm planning on getting, which also don't need to write. Some cosmetic CPU cooler covers, which I don't need to arrive right away. I'm holding off on the cosmetics until later, but it'll make it look nice and professional when I do add those. And the motherboard is the main thing. That's supposed to be arriving tomorrow. I was worried about the RAM because the RAM was taking a lot of time, but it just arrived today, so goody. I'll be rolling my GTX 1080 into the new system. The new system's a 3900X that I'm building with the fact that I'm going to be doing a lot of Blender stuff. Yeah, I've been building a new computer. This old one will still be in service too. I'm going to move it into another room, possibly. And then, like, if I don't feel like doing class in one room for the day, I can do it in another. Because this computer that I'm on right now is an i7 4770 non-K. Okay, Google, stop. With 32 gigabytes of RAM. So we're on a 5-minute break. Okay, Google, set timer for 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Starting now.
Yeah. Would anyone be against me running a 60-second ad break right now? Because I don't want to irritate people, especially if they're drawing from the head. Yeah, I'll do that. Okay, 60-second ad break while I go get some water. All right. I can answer questions now. Let's see here. Oof. Yeah, I think there might be some narrowing going on here. So, mind you, the SR head here is not supposed to be perfect. It's going to be differently shaped from how I'm drawing up there. I'm doing that on purpose because I'm trying to work out the actual planes instead of copying what I'm seeing. But there is parts where I kind of feel it is warping a bit. I'm just trying to fix those a little bit. What am I doing? I'm on break right now. Alright, I'll answer some questions here. Okay, Google, how much time left on timer?
T minus 1 minute and 24 seconds.
Oh, let's see how many questions I can ask in the next minute. I take a peek at what people have been doing in classroom chat in the Discord. Oh, I got a DM from somebody. Dedicated Wham. We stand Wambo. I think we have a Wambo. Yeah. Yeah, we have a Wambo and Wham. That's a Discord emotes. Yeah, for those of you who aren't familiar with this Discord, I'll generate an invite link for you real quick. If you are in the Twitch chat, and you are new to us, we teach free. We're a Discord that's connected to art YouTuber Ethan Becker, and we teach free art classes on through his Discord and through Twitch. We're a bunch of teachers, many of us industry professionals like myself, who I come from. Okay, Google, stop. I come from a background in the animation industry, and I started doing these. I was the main guy who started doing it in the Discord because I liked Ethan Becker's art instruction videos, and I found them inspirational. So I decided to join the Discord community. The voice channels were really active there, and I started exploring the possibility of doing group study stuff and like timed figure posing and things like that, and eventually kind of evolved into teaching free art classes. So we have a bunch of people doing that now. There's an animation class tomorrow being taught by someone who teaches also at the Gobelins School in France, who's going to be doing a limp syncing class tomorrow. Here, let me show that. Let me give a plug for them on stream right now, because I'm hopefully going to get up in time to participate in that. I'm an animator, and I want to learn from animators that are much better than me. And Nils, the teacher who teaches that, is a feature hand-drawn animator who's incredibly amazing, and they've worked on a lot of really cool shit. So let's see here. Class schedule, class announcements. Alright, so class announcements. Here. Yesterday we had a great one from Tavish right here, who's a concept designer, a concept artist. I think he works in the games industry mainly, but yeah, he taught yesterday a really awesome class doing demos of people's work and so on. And Nils is the animator. She animated her avatar, I believe. She's going to be teaching at 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. Pacific time. In addition to that, there's a Cartoon Network portfolio advice series that's happening at 12 noon tomorrow that I'm going to be restreaming through the Discord right after her class ends. It's a portfolio advice series that's going on for the next 2 weeks or so through Cartoon Network. It's worth checking out, and you can join we're not going to be doing that through Twitch. That one will be done through the Discord. Yeah, if you want to attend tomorrow's animation lip sync demo, definitely check that out. You can also find out more about class schedule stuff through the class schedule section, including my schedule, my current schedule. We are on week 6 right now. We're on week 6 now. This is the last week of this semester, and I will be updating the new schedule. Next week, I think we might actually do another. I think I actually want to keep doing the head drawing class on Monday next week, but I'll update the schedule. So keep that in mind. I'm working on revising how we're going to be doing these schedules and stuff. Anyway, so let's get back. We went a little over time here, so I'm going to get back to the head drawing. We are going to do the profile view of the Asara head right now. So we'll be doing the simple side Asara head first, and then we'll be doing the complex side. So the goal right now is we're going to be doing all 5 of these for this session. So we got 4 more of these to draw. Okay, Google, set timer for 25 minutes.
25 minutes, and that's starting now.
And here we go. Let's have a fun, ladies and gents. So, who here has experience actually drawing the Asaro head previously? I'm curious. I'm sure there's some art students in here that have used this thing before. And if not, if this is your first time drawing this guy, please also speak up and let me know what you think so far. If there's anything you're struggling with, or if you feel like you're getting something out of this. And you should struggle with this. This guy is tough to wrap your head around at first. And he will continue to be tough to wrap your head around even when you get really good with him. And it's supposed to be that way. Drawing a real human head is even harder than this guy. This guy is supposed to make you not lie to yourself when you're drawing the head as much. Like, you can still, it's like, it doesn't have to be perfect when you're drawing. But because of how simplified it is, you can gauge things a little better without getting caught up in like the details or the likeness of someone's face necessarily. If you understand what I'm saying. Like, there's less visual noise that would distract from things that are causing problems in your drawing. If you're drawing a real person's head, whoops, I don't want to do that just yet, do I? Do the rest of this face. So I'm trying to get like some simplified shapes here that sort of work better for me. The front of the face there, and correlate that to the rest of the face. I did kind of go into these shapes a little bit sooner than I should have on this one, but that's okay. I can still triage this a bit. Let's see if I'm making that error that I usually make. It looks like I'm not, actually. It's looking a little bit more in the ballpark. So this is the simple side of the Asara head face. We will be doing the complex side in profile as well. Yeah, this does. Mr. Bro Colin in Twitch chat is absolutely right. This does not have to be perfect, but when you know to put things on the right place and where they should be, you can play with the sizes in a better way. Yes, exactly. Having your ass kicked by something like this makes doing other things way easier. That's the point of doing this. This is kind of like, for you Dragon Ball fans, or your fans of Naruto, or whatever, this would be like Goku or Rock Lee with the arm and leg weights on. You'll be able to handle drawing a lot of stuff easier after doing this. Like, practicing Asara heads will actually improve your visual gauging ability at other things you draw. Of course, I don't want you to practice exclusively the Asara head. I want you to practice other things too. Maybe even, like, if you're not really feeling that day, draw a bunch of cubes. Do the draw box exercises. Guess what, folks? I've been doing the draw box exercises. Have you? I'm gonna do more of them. I'm considering the possibility. I'm toying with different ideas for classes next semester. One of them, animal drawing, because that's something I'm pretty versed at, and I want to revisit. Animal drawing. Sakuga and WebGen focused animation workshop / class. I want to get stuff that involves way more, like, really being bold with animating, for sure. Let's see what else. Figure quick sketch and long poses and figure action studies. There's a lot of topic matter I really want to kind of distill down into what I'm going to focus on for the next semester, but whatever I do, I want to aim it so that there's a lot of rock solid, really good figure drawing stuff and like perspective drawing stuff, and a lot of really good, really pushing animation. a lot more next semester. Like actually physically animating stuff. A lot more than I did this semester. This semester I mostly got tied up in doing walk cycle stuff, which is fine. So I was kind of getting back into things and also introducing people to stuff. But I want to be much bolder with it this next semester. So I don't know what form that's going to take just yet, but I have some ideas. And I may be exploring some of them, because like even though I'm going to be not having my classes, I'm going to be having some experimental workshops in the next couple weeks after the official classes end, because I'm still going to be drawing. It's just that I'm going to be doing stuff that doesn't necessarily involve a huge amount of prep beforehand before I teach these. So I can kind of dabble in different topics and basically do live group study sessions more. One of the things I was interested in doing is a web and channel art focused animation thing, where like the kind of animation we are making it in mind in the class to be stuff to post online to show off our creativity to people. So we'll have like a workshop group that is for that. Like if you want to make like animations for your like Twitch alerts or something like that, we'll be workshopping that sort of thing, and I can give like critique and feedback on people's things as we're working on making them for ourselves or for other people. Channel art, and also making GIFs and short clips that you would want to post to YouTube or to Twitter. I'm thinking of a class that would be focused on stuff like that, like stuff that would get you, as you are developing your skills, that would start to get you exposure, get you used to the idea of exposure. And like we can critique the stuff to improve it before you post it online, and do group critique, feedback sessions. I'd welcome critique from people here as well, no matter what your skill level is, and what you think of my animation. If something looks weird, or if you think something that you think I could fix in it, or improve, or add to. Doesn't matter what your skill level is. The act of exercising critique of others' work in animation will make you a better animator, because it'll make you self-evaluate your own work and engage your problem-solving skills and your communication skills. So I very much want to make group critique part of that when we get to it. Also, what we're doing right now, we have a deadline this week on some animation, like these walk cycles that we've been continually working on throughout the week. I'm going to have to get my button gear to finish mine, by the way. But we're going to be making a short film, basically. And it's going to be a short film that just collects a lot of people, everyone's walk cycles, all the people who worked on their walk cycles throughout my semester course. And it's going to be posted to YouTube. I'll put a little royalty-free music on it. It can be a fun little thing that shows off what a lot of people did. I'll be giving some more feedback. I'll be giving some last-minute feedback on stuff. The deadline for that is going to be next Friday, by the way, before class. Yeah, I'm going to be talking with Nils and a few other people about how to structure my animation workshops and classes in the future. So I have some really kind of abstract ideas of what it's going to... I think the head cranial mass is a little small on this guy, the way I drew them. Yeah, I think the forehead might be small too. But it's looking better than the other ones that I kept making those mistakes on. Okay, Google, how much time left on timer?
14 minutes left.
Oh, awesome. We got plenty of time on this one. Oh shit, wait a minute. Yeah, that totals to about 3 hours. That's actually an hour longer than I meant to spend. So we might actually not do the second profile. We will go to the 3/4. I'm going to be aiming this class to end at about 7:30. So the next drawing we do might be the last one for this session. Unless people want to do another hour. And we can do two more head poses. If people are down with that, then I'd be happy to keep doing this. Because this is meat and potatoes art practice, and I need it. You all need it too. Would you guys be down with that? And adding an extra hour to get the 2 other Asaro head poses in this? Or are you fine with just a total of 2 hours? Oops. Let's see the classroom chat. Alright, so I'm gonna make a vote in the classroom chat. Let's see here. So thumbs up for another hour of Asaro. Thumbs down for just half an hour and a half. Alright, so thumbs up and thumbs down. Here, let me add that. Yeah, thumbs up and thumbs down. Let's take a vote. I don't see any thumbs downs. Alright, guess we're doing another 3 poses. Okay, Google, how much time left on timer?
T-minus 11 minutes and 8 seconds.
What I might do is I might have us move to the workshop room so we can actually talk for these. Yeah, this one turned out pretty good. Maybe I can sharpen it up some more. We could lower opacity and draw with a blue line to sharpen it up. That polygonal ear. What happened to my vaporwave music? Yeah. Okay, let's see. Royalty-free vaporwave. I think I played this before. But yeah, if you want to support these streams, you can send me monies to my Ko-fi page or support me on Twitch with Twitch subs and bits. I think that my Twitch page actually has a link to my Ko-fi too. Let's see here. I need to update my channel. That's one of the things I'm going to be doing during the break period. I want to be improving my channel so I've got better quality streams, and I'm probably gonna change the layout of it. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I found it. Okay, there it is. That's the link right there to my Coffee page on my Twitch page. Yeah. Yeah, if you want to support me directly without Twitch taking a cut, that's preferred for sure. But if you have an unused Twitch Prime sub, that can work just fine. You'll get a sweet little Astropug emote out of the deal. And I think I'm going to get some additional... I think I might have another slot open now for another emote. If I do, I'm going to be definitely making that one of the... I'm planning on doing like kind of workshop group art sessions for making channel art a thing next week, because I'm going to be upgrading my channel art layout and stuff, and I can talk to other people who are interested in making their own channel art and animations, and we can do like a kind of a powwow group problem solving therapy or whatever, art therapy, Twitch channel art therapy, so we can figure out together like design layout things and like explore certain things, and I'd love to hear maybe even from people more experienced than me at doing Twitch stuff about how to better do things and so on. So I'll be updating and working on that stuff live. If an example of that sort of thing, I'll be working on animations for myself for my Twitch channel, background art, alerts, or whatever. It's kind of like self-branding stuff to make the channel more pleasing, less and do some problem solving, because I want screens that are less distracting to the art but might be thematically fun or something like that. Less distracting from whatever we're trying to study, you know. Vaporwave background notwithstanding that we're using right now. Okay, Google, how much time left on timer?
6 minutes and 17 seconds remaining.
Oh, goody. Let's say this is a pretty successful demo for the most part, or pretty successful study using the cheat sheet I have to kind of reorient myself. Oh, I missed a few things actually. There's a few errors I can fix. Like this one. Also kind of unrelated, but I'm thinking of doing game streams in the future on certain days. I've mentioned this before. I'm interested in like drawing game Jackbox stuff and trying to play games. Maybe I want to play games with people from the Discord. Some of our other instructors and some of the regulars and so on. Because there's a lot of really fun co-op games out there. Maybe some competitive ones that we could have a blast doing. I'm also interested in playing like artistically inspirational games that might be worth playing for one reason or another, and kind of thinking about from an art design standpoint. I mean, I'm going to have a sweet computer. Yeah, Lilin Art said that drawing a sorrow head is relaxing, and it is. When you start to get more used to it, and also take pressure off yourself, like just trust in that you're gonna get better at it the more of these you do. And times you can get more anal about, like I'm getting a little more anal right now about doing this guy. Trying to really zero in on stuff. If I was doing this on a traditional drawing pad, like I said, I'd like rub it down with kneaded eraser, and I'd rub it down with kneaded eraser, and then I'd be trying to like fix these issues that I'm running into. It's not perfect, and it shouldn't be. There's going to be errors. You just have to kind of accept it. But the point of doing this stuff is so you get fewer errors, or so you get a working model that looks nice, even though it might have a few errors in it. And I want people to be drawing this guy a lot, so that like you start like visualizing the Ithzaro head subconsciously, kind of. Like if it starts to get to the point that you get kind of a Tetris effect with the Ithzaro head, good. If you want that, I want you to be having dreams where you're thinking about drawing the Ithzaro head. For those who don't know what the Tetris effect is, it was an effect that was coined from people who play the game Tetris a lot when the game first came out, who started to play it so much they started like seeing falling tetrinos in their dreams, or like imagining playing the game in their dreams, or they would kind of start visualizing it almost involuntarily while they were awake. And it's actually not a bad effect. I mean, you get there's a similar effect for chess players when they play chess a lot. It's actually true of any kind of profession or any kind of skill you're trying to get better at. And of course, Tetris is, if you've ever seen high-level Tetris play, it's really something to behold. I mean, you could think of the Ithzaro head as human head Tetris. It's very polygonal. Yeah, the Ithzaro head is helping us know the structure of the head. Yes, that is what it's for. It's to help you think about things three-dimensionally. And drawing the Ithzaro head will help you tremendously when you move to drawing real human heads. And it's a tool that you're going to be returning to a lot over time. That's why I strongly consider making an investment in buying one of these and getting maybe a tripod to stand it on. They come with a little tripod mount at the bottom. So the Grody one that's on here, the ones that they make now are much better quality, by the way. But yeah, here's the ordering page. It's $115. This is the one you want, the original head. He also makes additional stuff that is worth picking up. The memorized head, which is also known as the simple Ithzaro head, is also worth picking up. That one is $65, I believe. But he's got other of these male and female faces, smiling, different facial expressions and types. It's also got some human figures for 150 each. I'm going to be starting to gradually make a collection of these kinds of things. I have another figure that's a human figure that I'm going to be using during the figure drawing classes we're going to do. Okay, so we're on break. Okay, Google, set timer for 5 minutes.
5 minutes, starting now.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, somebody mentioned you can do art-based Jackbox or shit, Scribble.io. Yeah, and Aggie.io, and so on. We were playing art jam games actually last Saturday. Art jams, comics jams, and art jams is. Hang on, this music's really fucking loud. It's better. So art jams and comic jams is stuff we're going to be doing more of in the future. We did some of that last week for the storyboarding class to kind of dip people's toes in a productive play storyboarding exercise. These comics jams are basically where one person draws a panel, another person draws a panel, another person draws a panel. Usually around a topic or just trying to continue a story. They can be really silly and stupid or have some kind of a point you're going for with them. Comic artists at conventions will often play that. And storyboard artists at conventions, also animators and other people, will often play them with each other. But what I did is I gave people a bunch of prompts, and then like this prompt was for Junji Goes to Disneyland, and this is how this one turned out. Different people drawing the panels on this one, like four different people per page. You can see the rest of these in the storyboard class section. That's in my corner here, which you need to opt in on our Discord in this area right here in order to join. But once you do, you can join up and see my storyboard class stuff, where people did stuff like this. Death Note, but the Death Note makes people have very nice days instead of killing them. The prompt for this one is not stated, but the prompt is Hayao Miyazaki of Studio Ghibli fame must kill anime to save it. He goes to the Isekai land and kills everyone. It had to be done. Thank God somebody did it. All these cookie cutter animes. Miyazaki couldn't stand it. So the prompt on this one is streamer throws cat when the cat gets revenge. My cat loves being held and loved with all my heart. Da 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 da. Amiya wa shinderu. The community has closed this channel due to meowlation of the terms of service. I like the Meow Floor gang right there. There's an alternate ending version of this that somebody made. Also, where the cat just kicks them across the face. Here's one that I contributed to. This one's the prompt on this one is, whoops. See if I can get a better quality version of that somewhere in here. Probably not, but this one is Space Dads terrorized by these space skeletons. I made this panel here, but yeah, it's true. I'm absolutely terrified of the space skeletons. And this is another one I contributed to. It's called Sonic the Hedgehog Gets a Hernia. That dead chili. The pain. And he started to look an awful lot like Ego Raptor, Aaron Hansen of Game Grumps. So I kind of lead him into that with his facial hair. And here he is losing his rings as he's getting herniated. But yeah, we had fun with that. I want to do more of those kind of thing. Actually, I want to make a regular drawing game event out of stuff like that. There's a game called Broken Picture Phone that you should check out. The UI is pretty unintuitive, but the game is really fun with friends. Broken Picture Phone is like a storyboard game, but you don't get to see all the panels. Yeah, that's an Exquisite Corpse game, it sounds like. That's Exquisite Corpse is where you Exquisite Corpse is a drawing game that came out of the Surrealist movement of France. Andre Breton started it as a word game originally, but then it turned into an art game. And the art game is okay, Google, stop. The art game is you see the bottom of the bottom of the side and just the edges of the lines of the thing you're supposed to draw on and add to. Let's see here. We are going to do the other profile of this guy. we have a good angle on him though is the thing. So it's this guy here on the right there. Hopefully that's a good angle for folks. I think it'll work. But yeah, Exquisite Corpse. I'll show a quick example of that on screen right now. Ooh, here's a really nice Dr. Robotnik actually that just came up on ArtStation here. It's really nice. Anyway, so Exquisite Corpse. Okay, Google, set timer for 25 minutes.
25 minutes, starting now.
And Exquisite Corpse, here's some examples of Exquisite Corpse. Different famous surrealists might actually show up in some of these, but they fold the page down, you just see the edge of the line, you can continue the drawing throughout it, and you get like really bizarre results. There's an awful lot of art school kids that have done this game a lot, and you'll see comic artists and storyboard artists and animators doing this game a lot, especially at conventions and parties and stuff. And there's a comics version of that where you just start with where you try to continue the story from just seeing the last panel. And there's other rules for doing those too. But I'm thinking of making like an art game day once a week or once or twice a week in future stuff that's not a class but is an art game session, because if you look at the video of the storyboarding class, I ran it like a game session, and it was really fun, and I want to do more of those because that was a big blast. It's productive play, that kind of stuff, because that stuff loosens you up and lets you play with mechanics of drawing, and it's fun free sketching and just coming up with random silly ideas and trying to amuse other people. So here we go, doing another profile view, and then we'll do 2 3/4 views, one favoring the simple side and one favoring the complex side of this guy. Let's see, I did a pretty good job and I was pretty anal about the last one, so I'm kind of worried if my concentration might be not as good on this one. But maybe I can psych myself into it by talking with all you all here. And maybe anticipating some of the problems I ran into on that last one a little bit better this time. But we'll see. Your concentration can vary over the course of a drawing session. And I'm doing this while talking into a Twitch audience. That's also why I've had to take more me time lately with studying on my own, because you are inherently, when you're streaming, dividing your concentration slightly. Like even just like through the act of being conscious that you're drawing while being watched. It is almost like a very slight handicap, well, if you're used to it. I have a background working at Disneyland actually as a theme park caricature artist, so I'm used to like drawing in front of other people. And that's also why I'm not worried about messing up either in front of other people. I mean, like, I want to do a good job. I want to get good and better at this stuff so that, like, there's credibility behind what I'm doing, especially if I'm teaching, like, a class that people pay for, you know? Like, I want to eventually get to the point where I can teach, like, real classes. What you're getting here is, like, my amateurish attempt at a first try at that sort of thing. And I'll probably keep teaching like very like relatively simpler classes and giving free advice, like a lot of art streamers do. There's a lot of fantastic art streamers. They give away tons of free advice and knowledge, but they also teach, and they do paid classes and mentorships and stuff. They do more involved stuff for people who pay. So I want to figure out something that's going to work for me. I know there's a lot I can teach people that are beginners. And I've discovered more of that. I know more than I realized by but over the course of this first experimental semester teaching these free classes. So I have a better idea of what what will eventually grow into how I would teach paid classes. And I have some ideas of how I might be able to set up a Patreon system for giving a limited number of guaranteed critiques of people's work for some of these live sessions. Something along those lines. Like I want to critique like more than just like the guaranteed folks and stuff, but I want to like guarantee at least some people who have paid to get feedback from me, guaranteed feedback, you know. So, some kind of system that would be fair and reasonable, and it helps from people who want to support me, what I'm doing, and that value the feedback that I'm going to try to give them. That also means I have to put my money where my mouth is. I have to double down and get good, and work work even hard. Oh, I made these lips really low. But you know what? I'm going to cheat this just for a change. I'm just going to grab this and move it up. Just these lips here, because it's not that far off. And I was talking. So it threw me off a bit. So, where was I? Yeah, I need to put my money where my mouth is on getting good, so that I can give more effective critique and feedback. I'm going to have to study like heck, because then I can speak with a greater sense of strength from... Oh shit, I fucked up this whole area, didn't I? Yeah, I did. It's not supposed to be there. That's what happens when you go on autopilot sometimes, folks. I'm talking about how being on stream divides your attention sometimes, and it definitely does when you're drawing. It does when you're playing video games. It's harder to play video games skillfully on a stream than it is to just play them by yourself, because your attention isn't divided to what's happening in the chat. Or even like you don't even have in the back of your head thinking about what's happening, or you're conscious of the fact that people are watching you. But I think that like for tournament play, that's something that like tournament players have to just learn to deal with, honestly, because they're going to be playing in front of other people when they're at a tournament. But with art, it's not the same thing. I mean, like art, we'll be doing an awful lot of it by ourselves, and what matters is the end result we get when we bring it out to show to people, or when it gets published or whatever. But if you want to do live art demos and teach, then you gotta get used to talking in front of people. So in that way, this is helping me, but it could potentially hurt me if I'm not careful, because it will handicap my learning process if I'm not cognizant of how it can. I think I'm fucking up this area even more now, actually. I did a big blunder again. I made the same mistake twice of like zooming in too far and losing sight of the big picture of this whole area. Let's see here. Measure. Lower that eye. Yeah, someone said, I'm still learning doing some art streams too. Yeah, we're all still learning. I mean, we're never going to stop learning. I think it's okay to do art streams and stuff, but I would be conscious of what's going to hurt you, what's going to help you at all times. In my case, this is helping me, but I also have some handicap stuff I have to be cognizant of. Like when I start talking, and you saw me do it twice just now, when I start talking a lot without really thinking about the problem solving of what I'm trying to do, I can sometimes make mistakes that I have to go back and fix. Oof, there's a lot of really strange stuff happening right now. I'm going to try to triage and fix. I don't think moving the lips up helped me. I don't think this eye is right. But, okay, Google, how much time left on timer?
14 minutes and 45 seconds left.
But I have plenty of time to fix all that. So let's see what I can do. I'll maybe just go over this area here. So there's some stuff in the rights, kind of in the ballpark a little bit. But maybe I kind of have to measure it a bit. So how are you guys enjoying this so far? I hope it's kicking people's butt. I mean, aside from being relaxed, I mean, it should be relaxing to an extent, but it should also kick your butt. But it should be like a kind of a butt kicking that feels good. Like, oh, I made a mistake, but it's okay, I'm learning by doing this. Like, that's always how I kind of felt about the Asara head. Like, if you mess up, it's okay. There's hundreds of other Asara heads I'm going to do. I can look forward to those. And every time I fix an error, my Asara heads are going to improve. Just have just trust in the Asara head. Trust in tools like these to get you the visual topography and anchor points you need to understand things better and get your visual sense of 3D space and form more in tune. And you don't have to worry about making it perfect. You're making judgments here when you're doing these. And the more you exercise making these kinds of judgments and trying to make fixes and trying to see what relates to what you can improve here and there or fix here and there, the more you exercise doing that, the better you'll get at it. You're always going to make errors, and you want to get used to the practice of fixing them. And that's another thing that the Asara head is fantastic for, because you can use it to gauge where you're messing up. You can say, whoa, slow down, go back, what's going on here that looks funky? And remember, you're not copying the Asara head. I mean, you are to a little bit, but you're trying to break down the shapes and understand why the lines are doing what they're doing, and try to interpret them on your page. Try to get it in the ballpark. You're going for flexible accuracy. Like, it's not going to be perfect to what you have up there in front of you, or should it be? But you should understand the idea, the 3D form, the 3D planes that you're trying to replicate. Over time, you'll be able to maybe even produce, from doing enough of these, an SR head that looks pretty spot on to what you have in front of you. But that shouldn't be the only way you practice. You don't want copyism. Like, you want the ability to replicate what you see as a tool. But what you really want is the ability to interpret and understand, so that, like, you have the ability to take the SR head and change its design, or warp it, if you intentionally warp it, not like as a mistake, or use it to as a 3D model inside your head to kind of help you with your head drawing. And as a way to think about how you would reinterpret planes while still understanding them. Because when you draw the SR head on the page, you are designing another SR head on the page that is not the SR head that you're looking at, per se. It is your interpreted version of the SR head. In my case, I'm doing that combined with a cheat sheet I have near me of a drawn SR head that I'm also using and learning from. And you should do that too. We'll maybe find and hunt for some well-drawn SR heads for you guys to look at. Because it'll give you some ideas of like how you don't have to copy it one for one, what you're seeing when you do these. You can, and it's fantastic if you do that while maintaining like a sense of 3D form, but you don't need to. But it should be one of the ways you try to approach this at certain points, because it will help engage your ability to understand 3D form. But I want to show you guys just how flexible this thing can be when you start getting more into it. Hopefully we can go around and find some examples of that. Okay, Google, how much time left on timer?
You've got 8 minutes and 16 seconds left.
Cool. So I'm going to do the same thing I did in the last one. This guy's looking pretty reasonable now after my fixes. So I'm going to go back through with a blue pencil after low and opacity and do another version where maybe I correct some errors and clarify some things. And that adds another layer to my learning process here, and also gets me a better drawing. Like, this is something that I would use if I'm working through drawing problems of things I'm not really confident in, if I'm drawing a character or something. I want to get to the point where I'm using a lot fewer lines, but I don't have that confidence in that manual dexterity just yet. And also, I need to rethink how I use my drawing tools. I was doing a little bit of that with someone else. It's one of the Art Center students that has visited our chat. He was suggesting some other brushes I can use, like thicker brushes. I'm sticking with this one because it's the one I'm familiar with for doing these demos, but over the semester break I'm going to be really trying to lean hard into doing thicker brush drawing stuff and trying different Clip Studio brushes and also like the Photoshop brushes, since I'm going to be able to use Photoshop again, to try to see what better results I would get. But that's the other reason why I want to do a traditional semester next semester, in addition to, well, I'm going to be doing digital too, but there's going to be a lot of traditional stuff next semester. And you don't have to have traditional stuff to participate. You can participate digitally too, but if you're able to, great. If you're able to do traditional, great. But I want to start doing traditional stuff more as improving my cross training into digital skills, because that's going to improve my manual dexterity in digital to start doing traditional stuff again. The only issue is that it's a little hard to do live demos traditionally. But I mean, like, doing workshops of that would work just fine, where I do time poses and stuff, and then I'm drawing traditionally on my pad. I can photograph the stuff later. Okay, Google, how much time left on timer?
You've got 5 minutes and 37 seconds to go.
Nice. Got a lot of time. How does one know what they mess up and wanting to fix it? That takes a lot of observation. It also takes a good drawing instructor. I mean, I could take a look at some of your stuff and critique it a little bit. But again, I'm not a professional art instructor. Ideally, the scenario you want to be in is actually no, you can submit your stuff to the feedback sections, like the art review section, for example, on our Discord for feedback on your Asara head drawings, and experienced people there will be able to give you critique. You can also submit it to our my figure drawing class section. We'll hopefully try to get to it. I'm going to actually try to get to some of the demos I didn't. Some of the feedback requests I got that I wasn't able to get to. I'm going to try to get to some of those over the course of this semester break. Oops. I may mess something up here. Oh, it's close. But yeah, always remember, like, as far as the Asara head goes, tools like the Asara head are tools to help you understand. They are there to help you wrap your head around stuff. There's other tools like it, but the Asara head is so powerful in and of itself that you could literally spend like several months just drawing Asara heads, and you'd get a huge amount from it. We're probably not going to do that, but anyone who wants to is welcome. And I am definitely going to draw a lot of Asara heads once I get a physical Asara head. And you're always gonna be using the Asara head throughout your art career too. Like, you're gonna be coming back to it over and over again to reorient yourself once you started using it, or tools like it. It just happens to be a particularly powerful tool, and that becomes more evident the more you. As to why it's so powerful, that becomes more and more evident the more you practice from it. And when I was more in tune practicing it, that definitely became evident, because I started to get pretty darn good at my head drawing. But I am out of tune compared to where I used to be, and I'm trying to go beyond where I used to be. So we'll be all working up that journey together. And the next phase of it will be during semester 2. And like I said, the art workouts aren't going to stop next week. There's going to be more of them. It's just that I will be testing out a bunch of stuff. I'm going to be doing like some class theory crafting basically, and I'll make announcements in advance. Generally, I'll probably be using roughly the same time slots for stuff that I currently do. Although impromptu workshops might not be announced beforehand, though I will try to coordinate them with the other teachers. Someone just said, just finished a commission for a friend, and remember that we have class. We'll rewatch this. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. You can rewatch this all you want. It's going to be on Twitter. It's going to be on YouTube later. Most of my classes are on YouTube. There's just one that is not right now. The one that's not is a storyboarding class that got copyright yoinked because we were studying from Satoshi Kon's Perfect Blue. It got copyright yoinked because, you know, Perfect Blue is a copyrighted film. Whoops. So we'll figure out some ways of running those classes later. It's going to be hard to do cinematic studies over Twitch. Well, I mean, we can do it over Twitch, but uploading it to YouTube will be a problem. There is a fair use clause of using that kind of stuff for educational purposes, so I might be able to challenge the copyright claim. But no, I think I can still post it, but I just can't monetize the video. Which is fine. I don't have enough. Okay, Google, stop. This turned out pretty alright. Alright, so we got 2 more sour heads to draw. We'll be doing 2 of the 3/4. We're going to start with the simple one first. So it'll be that one on the left there. I hope that's a plenty good view for everyone right here of that one. But yeah, let's take a look at what I got, and I'll answer some questions. I'm going to have to look over some more Clip Studio tutorials to set up a better interface for myself. But let's see. There's also animation stuff I need to learn with it. Yeah, there's a little bit of kind of distortion happening on the cranial mass, I think, on this. But it's still a successful study. Back of the head is bugging me. Let's find. Let's maybe flip it and find out what's going wrong with that. I mean, it looks like a good study, but there is some issues going on there. Let's make some notes here, I guess. I think that's a little better. Something like that. Let me see if I can address what's going on here. No, it's not too bad. I think the main thing is that's going on is this. It should be more like that. Like that-ish. It's still not a bad study, but it's good to be aware of those things. I actually kind of like this vaporwave backdrop. I may keep it for the next few sessions. What do you guys think? Also, here, let's see here. Go to classroom. Classroom chat. Alright. Let's see what people are posting. So would you guys be down with moving into the workshop room? Actually, you know what? I'm going to enable voice in here. We don't have to move then. Okay. Alright, people should be able to speak now. Try leaving and rejoining here. Try leaving and rejoining here and seeing if you can speak. Okay, Google, how much time left on timer? Okay, Google, how much time left on timer?
It looks like you don't have any timers set at the moment.
Oof. Alright, okay, Google, set timer for 3 minutes.
Alright, 3 minutes.
We'll be
And
back
we're
to the
starting
next post
now.
in 3 minutes. So there's going to be 2 more head poses. Oh, wow. Actually. Yeah, let's go with it. We're going to commit to it. 2 more head poses. This is good practice. We'll stick with it. Anyway, you should be able to speak in Discord voice now if you want to ask questions or whatever. I think it's push to talk. I think you might have to leave the room and rejoin and set yourself on push to talk. But if you cannot speak in voice, even under push to talk, when you come back, let me know in the classroom text chat. I'm wondering if, yeah, joined right at the end. We've got 2 more head poses to do, ZZZ, if you want to join in and draw along. We've got basically like another hour to go, I would say. Yeah, they are $125. Crane Culture. I think I've linked where you can get them in chat before. Here they are. Here's the site for them. I'm going to link it in Twitch and in Discord real quick. Where's my Twitch? Where's my Twitch? Where's my goddamn Twitch? Here it is. Oh, also, thank you, King Kami, for the 2 months, for the 2nd month of Twitch Prime sub. Yeah, 11 minutes ago they gave me a Twitch Prime sub. Thank you. Every little bit helps. Okay, Google, stop. Alrighty, so this pose on the left here, the 3/4 one right there, is the one that we're going to be drawing now. So, okay, Google, set timer for 25 minutes.
25 minutes. Starting.
Wait, no. I'm sorry. That is the complex side. We're doing the simple side first. So it is actually going to be. Here, hang on. I gotta get my mouse over here. It is actually going to be this one in the middle here. I'm sorry about that. So get going. So let me know in text chat if you still cannot speak. You should be able to in Discord right now. If not, then I don't know why that's doing that. Like, can anyone unmute themselves and speak right now? That's what I want to know. And if they can't, try leaving the voice channel and rejoining. Yeah, I can hear you. Here, let me turn up Discord. Alright, go ahead. But yeah, I heard one voice just now. Yeah, I think that's what it was. Like, you gotta switch to push. Switch, if you're on voice activity, switch to push to talk, and then leave and rejoin the channel. I just gotta remember to turn that off when I leave the classroom, because during the normal classes only like TAs and mods can usually talk. But I wanted to open it. I wanted to open the floor to questions and banter right now. So, the front view and the profile view, you wouldn't think this, but the front view is actually the hardest of these to draw, which is why I had everyone start with it. The front view of a head is usually the hardest thing to draw, hardest pose of a head to draw, because it has to be symmetrical, and stuff can look lopsided or off if you mess that up. So coming to the 3/4 view is a little bit easier. I think the profile is actually easier than 3/4 though, but it really depends. In any case, like having the other ones that we did under our belt makes doing the 3/4 one easier. For sure. ZZZ. Yeah, well, you start with the simple head shape. Let's try to break it down into simple shapes. And then just do your best. You're drawing from observation on this thing, if it's your first time ever drawing on this guy. Yeah, if you know what a Loomis head is, you can start with a Loomis head. I'm going to lower the opacity on that guy. Make some fixes. I'm going to maybe be a little bit more bolder with this one and not as concerned with anal accuracy, as long as I get the overall feeling of it. But yeah, the SAR head is designed to kick your butt. It is supposed to be It is supposed to be tough to draw this. It is designed to force you to confront 3D planes in space that you can measure and relate to each other off of. So if something goes wonky or off measure, you can kind of track that a bit. And you're not supposed to make it perfect. Although you can for certain kinds of study, but you're supposed to kind of digest what you can from it and break it down as best as you're able. And you're supposed to do a lot of these, so you get better at them the more you do them, and you'll learn something every time you do one. If you want to, ZZZ, I'm going to upload a page of a bunch of them. You can warm up by trying to draw loose, rough sketches of them. To just kind of get like an overview of them instead of jumping right in for the long drawing. Another thing you can do is you can just draw one pose from this for the next hour that you're here. I would recommend for beginners you should spend an hour on these at least. Everyone else usually around like a half hour for these longer ones. Although, I mean, like, more experienced people can spend an hour. I mean, that's just like a rough estimate of how long you would need to spend doing studies of these. What's up with the music? This music is getting a little irritating. Or rather, not quite the vibe I would want at this moment. I want me some vapor waves. I don't want wah 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 wah. Let's see what other royalty-free vaporwave I can put on it. Oh, here we go. So yeah, there's a lot of reasons why I want to do a traditional semester for my traditional focused semester for myself, where I'll be doing a lot of my drawing traditionally instead of digitally. And there's a large number of reasons why I would want to do that. But chief among them is I have a tendency to zoom in and out a lot when I draw, and that can kind of remove my ability to see the big picture. And that can kind of cheat my manual dexterity a lot too. Did somebody say something? Hang on one sec. You're really quiet. Can you boost your mic? Yeah, I can hear you now.
There was some drawing programs that like great canvas, which never change the size of it, just never do, even though you're drawing on the same one that you're doing.
Yeah, I've seen those actually. There's a lot of concept artists actually use those. And there's I think there's like some iPad apps that use that too. I've never tried them, but I'm meaning to look into them. If you can DM me that, I can check it out later. Yeah, ZZZ, I think you're getting way too caught up into big stuff first. Try to get like the big shapes, like the big shape of the head working first before you worry about the features. And instead of putting in the details for the features, maybe measure out where they are first. Like I've actually been getting lazy about doing that for this particular demonstration here. So let's see here. It's about here-ish actually. Rule of thirds for measuring the features, or measuring the line marks on the face. And mind you, take this really slow. This is not a race. Just like go really slow with this, especially if it's your first time doing this. I'm going to actually be slowing down on these the more of these I do throughout this week. This is my first time back to this. And there's going to be a difference between how I draw sorrow heads now versus how I draw them in like a week or in 2 weeks, or if we loop back around, how I draw them in like 6 or 10 weeks from now. I'm gonna have a lot more knowledge in tune of these things to be able to execute them better. Actually, I'll move the nose over here. Kind of like what it is in the photo. So I'm using a combination of the cheat sheet and the photo here. The cheat sheet's a little bit different than the slightly different angle than the photo, so I'm kind of working around it a bit. Also, I wouldn't really necessarily worry about shading these. You want to get them drawn well first. Like, shading can come later. Doesn't matter so much if you're sketching these, though. If you're sketching these, you can play with that a bit. But you want to concentrate on getting as well drawn as you're able to first. I mean, there's nothing keeping you from like, oh, I'm just going to add some flat tone in here there just to see how it looks when I add that in. You can do that. But in terms of like making use of your time doing these, I wouldn't shade it for the for anything but like sketches that you might be doing. With these studies, you kind of want to concentrate on building the thing in drawing form before you worry about any kind of shading. But yeah, I'm going to be interested in seeing maybe like a side-by-side comparison of like how I'm drawing the Asara head right now versus how I draw it in like 6 or 10 weeks from now. Because I'm planning on sticking with this guy and drawing him a bunch, especially after I get the physical Asara head. When I meet the next donation goal. Oh shit! I did it again, didn't I? Beefed out the chin at the expense of the head cranium mass. Oof! And there's a bunch of other weird shit going on with this that I am messing up. That's okay. The Asara head is designed to kick your butt. Like, it's a device that's not going to lie to you. And you can take and digest it at your own pace and keep coming back to it. That's what I like about finding good study materials. Good study materials won't lie to you. Like, they won't try to cover up what they're doing or what they're saying to you, or what they're how they're built. So you want to, when you're studying stuff, you want to generally find materials that are very honest from a technical side of things. Now, when you get like much more advanced, you can get more value out of like looking at stuff that's a little bit more opaque. That's when you start getting into the realm of master copies, and for that you need a knowledge base of understanding yourself for how to break down and understand why the artist made certain cheats that they made. But this Asara head here is not a cheater. This guy is not cheating anything. They are simplifying things, but they are not cheating anything. That's why you need honest study materials, because then you can use the honesty of these study materials to gauge yourself and to make adjustments. Maybe lower the opacity on this guy and maybe make some corrections and changes. I think that there are some issues with it, but I think it's still a good. It's a good study. It's just not. It just could be better. I mean, always could be better. And my future Asara heads are going to look hopefully much better than this guy. For the time being, this is a fantastic tool for helping me engage my visual understanding of planes, not just of the head, but in general, of exercising my diligence and being able to acknowledge my mistakes and correct them, or try to correct them. Exercise the art of correcting. And also, this is a confidence building exercise in that I can have faith that the Asara head is going to help move me in the right direction. And I can feel good about having practiced these, even if these drawings aren't the best. Because it's like putting in your mileage. Because I know for a fact that doing these means that I will be able to do them better when I do them again. Every time I'm going to learn something new, and I'm going to make little adjustments, try things again, reassess myself, pay attention if I'm starting to get sloppy and cocky. That is also a danger too that you can run into. Like, you can sometimes get overconfident and then lose, and then like you don't want to turn off your observational abilities. It's okay to like kick back and sketch sometimes and just not be so self-conscious all the time, but there are times you need to concentrate and you want to exercise doing that, because otherwise it's going to be a big problem when you have to do like an art commission or something and you don't have that ability to do that from practicing it. So I'm wanting to double down on that in the future. Like, I want to push even harder into that the more of these I do. So it's like I'm working up my muscles of my ability to concentrate with this too. That's also going to be like the stronger I get at being able to concentrate is going to directly impact just how good I get at this stuff. In addition to, like, you know, everything else that goes into it, like all the actual knowledge and the theory that I'm trying to understand behind all this stuff. It's various systems of drawing that we're trying to digest. But my ability to ability to mentally focus and concentrate and discipline myself to do that, even when I'm not necessarily feeling it, the more a muscle I get of my exercised ability to concentrate and observe and problem solve and think and revise and check myself, that is going to have the biggest impact on how I improve. And there's no shortcut for that. You got to keep doing it. You got to keep reevaluating yourself You can't go on autopilot all the time. I'm trying to, even though I'm talking right now, I'm trying not to go on autopilot. So I'm trying to use a different part of my brain when I'm talking about this, and I'm trying to address stuff that I probably should correct as I'm going through this guy. So there is something to be said actually about when you talk through a drawing like I'm doing, it can make you more conscious of the stuff you need to solve problems with if you're doing it in the right way. And there's other times when your attention can wander, or you really, really need to concentrate on this thing because it's just like it has like a high level of dexterity involved or something, or whatever this thing is that you're drawing. Could be an Asara head, could be anything. And there are times you need to really just like zero in, turn off the music, get like absolute silence, and just zero in on that one thing. But a lot of times you can get like locked up and overly self-conscious and stuff, and you'll need to you can loosen up and come to like drawing workshops where you're allowed to talk. And I'm kind of sad that there aren't more people talking right now, actually. Even though voice is on in the Discord right now. Yeah, there you go. But I think a lot of people are concentrating because a lot of people, this is their first time with the Asaro head, so they're just really trying to pay attention to this thing, huh? That, and I'm kind of monologuing a lot, so I think a lot of people don't really have a word in edgewise, but feel free to speak up and say, like, oh, I'd like to say something, or whatever. Yeah, sure. Yeah, which would... Go ahead. Yeah, well, I mean, you can start studying like female features and stuff. Like take photographs of well-lit women's faces, and you can draw the Riley method lines on top of them. Also, like I think Stan Prokopенko and a few other people have like demos that they've done of female heads with the Riley method. So you might be able to look at how they do them, and I think they might say a few things about the differences between. The simplified differences between male and female, what we think of as male and female features. What we think of as male and female features, actually, you will see in both the sexes a lot. But just people have different face types and stuff. There are men that have more kind of what you would think of as feminine features, and women who have what you would think of as masculine features in their faces. But there are ways to kind of get there, and it involves like simplification to an extent and some understanding of bone structure and a few other things. But as far as the Riley method goes, I mean, the Riley method is fantastic for being able to find type and like warp the Riley method rhythms to where you kind of need them to be to imply the person's type. Hang on 1 second. Oh wow. Let me turn on the music there. Okay, Google, stop. Okay, Google, set timer for 5 minutes. What was the question? Sorry. You're really quiet here. Let me boost you. Go ahead.
That's my bad. Who were you mentioned that talk specifically about the difference between masculine, feminine and masculine?
Proko. Proko has some. I think they have some videos on Riley method. Head. Let's see. Oh no, they do some stuff on Riley head abstraction, but let's see. Riley method female. But I mean, like Riley method is excellent for finding type. Here's actually a caricature using Riley method with type that someone did. comes up when I do Riley method female head search. Hopefully we can find some better examples.
Hey, one more thing you did say that it often means taking away features. Because that's what I found myself doing, was bracing female heads.
Yeah.
I thought I was doing.
Yeah, I mean, like, female faces tend to be smoother looking. So when you start to get more complexity in them, it starts to look less feminine. That's usually a problem that just happens as a matter of course over trying to. Well, here's a draw where somebody did with the Riley rhythms over a woman's face. This is an example. There's some Riley rhythms in this constructed head here. From Michael Hampton, I think. But generally, like the way the features differentiate is the jaw on women tends to be kind of smaller and smoother. You can even see it on the Asaro head. The left side here of the Asaro head is a lot smoother and a little bit more curved at the jaw. This is a little more squared, and you can see the cheek is kind of angular, and so on. And the brow is more pronounced, kind of a bit. In terms of how like angular and blocky it is. The brow here is like more curved, kind of. And it's not extreme either. It's pretty slight. The area where it's like most different is like around here. This is a pretty good Riley method looking head. Someone, I don't know who did this, but yeah, I mean, like you want to be using the Riley method with real people's heads and trying to use it to kind of capture their type to an extent. But first things first, you need to memorize the Riley method rhythms so you can start using them. After you do, you have a wire mesh you can kind of bend to the shapes that you need that kind of take on the person's type. That's how it's supposed to be used. Yeah, there's a little bit of warping going on in this guy. I think the chin. This is a little big, right there. But it's still, I mean, it's still a good study. I think the way it could be fixed is something like this. Make a quick note here so I can either fix it later or at the very least I can acknowledge what my mistake was. It's looking a little better. I think because of that I need to maybe shave off some of the nose a bit here, like that. Yeah, that's looking a little bit more in the ballpark now. There we go. Alright. So I don't want to dwell too much on this, but just want to make notes of stuff that I can do better in the future. So the next head we're going to do is going to be the last head for the session. It's going to be the complex side of the Riley head. That's going to be the figure on that's going to be the head way on the far left here.
It's not too much of an issue if we're working on the same head the whole time, right?
No. In fact, I encourage that, especially for newer people. You want to really slow down and pay attention. I would also consider doing, that actually might be the third thing of homework I'm going to give this week. I'll have people do draw-overs of the Riley method. Excuse me, not Riley method, but Asaro head. So it's going to be 3 pieces of homework this week. I need 5 heads of the angles that we've done, of literally the same angles we've been doing the drawings of in class. Here. like 2 3/4 from the simple and complex side, 2 profile views of the simple and complex side, 1 straight on front view. You can do the optional. We got a huge page here, so you can maybe try the other angles too as optional homework, or use this as like a sketching guide. This or other photographs of the Asara, any photograph of the Asara head I would use. There's some really bad studies of the Asara head that I would not study from. I'll maybe see if I can find some good ones after we get done here. Okay, Google, how much time left on timer? Okay, Google, how much time left on timer?
It looks like you don't have any timers set at the moment.
Are you fucking kidding me? I thought I set it for 5 minutes. Okay, Google, set. Yeah. Alright, well, anyway, okay, Google, set timer for 2 minutes.
Okay, 2 minutes. And that's starting now.
So we'll be starting in 2 minutes. We're doing the left-facing complex side. That'll be the last thing we do. And I definitely will need to put down my drawing pencil because my wrist is in danger of becoming sore because I've been drawing for most of the day. I don't want to overdo it. Like, I draw from my shoulder, but I draw from my shoulder usually, but like excessive drawing can still wear you down. So I want to make sure I give my hand a good rest. But at the very least, I want to at least rest for like an hour or two after we get done here. I might stay up late drawing more though, but we'll see. Actually, no, I need to go to bed early tonight because Nils is doing the animation class tomorrow, and then there's going to be a Cartoon Network thing after that.
Would you use the circle, or would you use like a circle sphere for the flat when circle? Yeah.
What?
Would you use, like, starting off the head, would you use a circle or an oval shape?
Well, I mean, there's different ways of breaking it down, but like if you're doing a Loomis head, you're going to start with a sphere. You can also use like a like kind of what I'm doing on screen right now. It's anything to just kind of contain the shapes. The stuff that you're using is a way to kind of gauge things. Okay, Google, stop. Okay, Google, set timer for 25 minutes.
25 minutes. And that's starting now.
What's that?
I don't know where I just joined. This is my first class. Where am I looking at?
Twitch. You click my profile, Space Dad's profile, and you go to my Twitch page.
All right, thank you.
We're in our last pose this session. If you want to watch what we did, there's going to be a replay on YouTube, or you can watch the replay on Twitch.
All right, thank you.
Alright, so this one, I'm just going right for this one. I think I maybe should have not done something that... There we go. Lower the opacity a bit. When you're drawing traditionally, doing these, you want to draw really, really light, and that's something I'm going to have to exercise when I get back into traditional. Let's get these both in the same layer. One thing I'm going to be trying to experiment with, I don't know if OBS enjoys me doing it, but I want to see if I can try to set things up so I can draw in portrait mode. because drawing in portrait mode, I can situate the drawing tablet, the Cintiq that I have on an Ergotron arm here, right in my lap, actually, and it feels. I feel like I get better results when I do that, because I can treat the drawing tablet I can treat the Cintiq much more like a figure drawing class drawing tablet or drawing board. I think I'll actually, before we even start the traditional workshops, I'm going to actually, the traditional class stuff, I'm going to actually go over class materials, and so people can have time to order that stuff if they want to use that stuff. One of the things that I'm going to have people order is a really tricky piece of equipment that is its own learning curve unto itself, that I'm going to suggest people get a hold of early on and practice properly sharpening. It's the Conte charcoal pencils, which you are supposed to shave to a tapered tip to use. And there's particular ways you're supposed to hold it when you're drawing with it, and you're supposed to draw from your arm. But we'll go over those. Anybody have any questions or anything else to say in voice? Hello.
If I want to get into art more, do I have to go with digital art, or can I stay with traditional?
You can stay with traditional. You can master becoming a traditional artist. You can become a master draftsman without spending a cent on digital. All you need is to become a master draftsman. All you need is something to draw on, something to draw with, and an eraser. So you can use cheap printer paper and ballpoint pens or whatever, or pencils, number 2 pencils, or just whatever you have around you. There's other materials you can use that would also help you too, of course. Like there's certain types of mechanical pencils and so on that might give you more focused results and so on. But like if you can honestly master draftsmanship with really cheap drawing materials and not even spending anything on expensive computer hardware or anything. In fact, before anyone even considers buying any digital art stuff, start keeping a sketchbook and start doing regular studies from observation, and doing like studies like the Drawbox site or the exercises that we do in the Discord here and stuff like that. Your digital investing in digital art materials is going to be pointless unless you have a regular habit and a foundational habit of drawing traditionally to begin with.
For these classes, can I just like stick with like a pencil?
Yes, sure. Yeah, it's fine. In fact, I'm going to be doing I'm going to be drawing traditionally for the next semester. I do for a lot of this stuff.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
When I was drawing tonight, I felt good with last week when I was doing the Riley's head method. I wasn't that confident about it. It made me think, do we have to learn like a lot of different methods just to be good at art?
Yeah. You combine these things together. You should learn different methods because you're going to use different approaches to tackle different problems. And that's also the way that I've tiered things is a way of tiering things that I got from the Watts Atelier people. Specifically, we started with Loomis heads, and we drew from a skull, a real life skull, and then we used a simple Asaro head, and then we used Riley method rhythms, and now we're on a complex Asaro head, and all of these things have built into each other. And that's in addition to little tidbits of tricks that have been showing off about there's a little bit of Steve Houston in there. There's a little bit of George Bridgman that I've mentioned over the course of these that have gone into some of this stuff too. But like, you should study from a lot of different approaches. So you're going to pick and choose ones to focus on from time to time, and try to like if you want to memorize something, you should focus on it. That's why today we are focusing on the Asara head. But in the course of doing this Asara head, we have knowledge built up from classes we've done previously of ways to approach this, which includes the Riley method stuff. So there's little bits and pieces of the Riley method that are going into being able to make these. And there's also, of course, the Loomis head that's going into this a bit. And some of the observation drawings we did of the shape of the skull. But of course, for newcomers here, you don't have to worry about that. Like, just give it your best shot. See what happens. Like, at the very least, you can kind of gauge yourself a little bit about how much more observational study you need to do, and you'll be able to draw these more than once and see what happens when you start slowly understanding this. Mind you, you're not going to be able to digest something like this in just like a day, let alone a week. You're going to need like a month or several months to before this guy will really sink in. Yeah, aim for that. Like, maybe try to do at least one of these a day, and then also do some sketches. The sketches can be a lot more free. Like, you just do maybe spend a few minutes doing them. Just grab a bunch of photos, like the page that I've been posting in chat and the one that we're using here, or maybe use the Sketchfab 3D model to draw from. Like the sketch, you should be doing. I'm actually be assigning in the homework. I'm going to be assigning this, but this is something you should be doing on your own, regardless of homework. It's going to be a mix of the longer drawings, like these, for a half hour to an hour for each pose, and the sketching that you should be able to do free anytime, anywhere. And you can just have fun with, because you don't have to be super accurate with those. You try playing with it a bit, and you might use reference. You might test your memory and see how much you can remember of the Asara head, and test it out a bit. And of course, you might only remember one or two things about it. That's fine. You should be free to play with these tools. These are tools, but they are also toys. They are toys that you're going to be able to play with much more when you start getting into characters and portraits and other things. But you should have trust in a tool like this. So this tool is going to help you tremendously. It did for me when I was studying this extensively. That's why, and I've been putting off getting in the habit of drawing from it, and that's why I'm looking forward to hopefully making. Oh, Jesus Christ! I did it again. That bottom heavy jaw. The features on the bottom side that are just too big. Well, let's see if I can fix it with lowering the opacity. I have to there's something about how I'm measuring things early on that is causing this over and over again that I have to be wary of. But let's see if I can just get the general head shape contained in a way that feels a little bit better to me. So I don't think it's off, it's just there's a little bit of the cranial mass I'm missing this time. And maybe the bottom features might be a little beefy. No, it's better now. I think it's closer in the ballpark now. Let's measure here. I can probably bring up the nose a little.
Classes start 11 a.m. Pacific time, right?
What's that?
Do class start 11 a.m. Pacific time?
It's 8:30 p.m., my dude.
I was wondering, like tomorrow, when do classes?
Oh, that. Well, no, check the class schedule section. The different classes start at different times.
All right.
There's a class schedule section in Discord for that. But tomorrow's animation class, I think, is like 10 a.m. Yeah, 10 a.m. Pacific time. That would be evening over in France, I believe. Evening, yeah, like 5 p.m. or something. Which is where Nils is. Nils is based. You really looking forward to that one? She's an awesome teacher, so yeah, it should be really cool. So, like in the future for my animation classes, I want to try to find a way to integrate what we're doing here in these figure drawing classes into animation. So, like these longer, really ordered studies and stuff, like this really constructed face. This is going to go into when we want to do like this kind of meticulous study is going to go into when we want to do when we want to get like good drawings, good on model character head drawings for characters we animate, or like get good design out of the characters we design for animation, or when we're animating something, we have a good understanding of how the head works from doing this kind of stuff, so that we can solve problems with a cartoon character head, whether it be a cartoony character head or a realistic character head. And let me tell you, a lot of cartoon characters, a lot of really hard cartoon, really like more on the cartoony end cartoon characters are going to be a hell of a lot easier to draw if you clocked in the mileage on this. And also, even more, if you really like master this, you will have a much easier time drawing like way more realistic animated characters or comic characters or whatever. There's so many ways that this stuff gets like reutilized and reapplied into other mediums and crafts. Oh, I didn't separate this by layer. Oh well, that's okay. It's fine. It's just like it's not that far off from what I would do if I was like drawing over the same drawing in a traditional drawing class. And I can maybe do another pass on this too if it's still not working, which I don't think it is. Let's see here. Okay, Google, how much time left on timer?
T-minus 9 minutes and 57 seconds.
Cool, we got plenty of time. Yeah, I think a little bit more cranial mass up there might help. Just a bit. Yeah. What's up?
Like when you draw enhancement movies, have like a structure around it.
What do you mean?
Drawing enhancement, you don't just instantly drawing eyes and
No. Placement of the features matters even more than the features themselves. Like so you need to, in order to like draw the features, right? You need to draw where they're placed and measure where they're placed really well. That will become more apparent when we will get more into feature drawing next semester. But we've been dipping into it a little bit in little bits and pieces in here. And the drawing tools that we've been using so far have been tools that are designed to concentrate your ability to construct the face and construct the areas of the face that are where you place the features and so on. But we'll go over that we'll go over that stuff in more detail next semester, because we're going to be going over facial features and how to properly place them, and of course how to properly draw them. But using the Asaro head here, if you are working on big shapes and working inwards to the smaller ones, if you concentrate on trying to rough out in big shapes where the stuff is placed and measure it, then that will get you closer in the ballpark to placing the features properly. And this takes practice, like anything else too. Yeah, I'm really happy with how far we've come in this. I'm gonna maybe be trying to use this as a format for future classes, where we where our subject is like, I put like a photo of something on screen and we spend a long time drawing it. For quick sketch, I would be using time poses. But for like this, for like long studies, it'll be like 25-minute poses at a time. And I might supply and I probably will definitely supply the image so that people can use it at home, print it out, or put it up on their own monitor instead of using the screen while we're doing those. So they get a better resolution image to refer to. Yeah, this one's a little bit more successful. Still think there's problems going on with it, but yeah. This is one of the more successful ones. I have to go back and compare. But I'm slowly starting to like kind of address the issues that I keep running into, especially with favoring the lower side of the face and not giving enough cranial mass. When you have problems like that, you need to keep attacking them, and eventually you can, if not completely get rid of them, at least you're in such a habit of correcting and accounting for them that it's almost like you don't have them. But that's kind of a lie, though. I mean, like, everyone, even high-level pros, make the same basic newbie mistakes that we all do. You will actually see that happen a lot of times if you watch them draw. You'll see them making grotesque errors. But what happens is they catch those errors. Sometimes their engagement is a little bit off. Their gauging of the errors is a little bit off. It takes them a little bit longer to get warmed up and notice them. But when they do, you'll see them correct it. The difference between a pro and an amateur or beginner or intermediate is a pro or a master is really good at spotting errors that everyone from beginners to intermediates to pro makes, and fixing them. Like they have the problem-solving skills to fix those problems in a large number of ways, and the experience from doing that problem-solving process over and over. And that's what I want to engender in all of you. But when you're doing the Cesaro head, try to solve problems in it when you are doing the longer poses of this. Exercise your ability to solve problems. The Cesaro head is almost it's kind of weird. Like this thing looks like the dummy that you would see like in MMA fighter gyms and stuff, where you punch the dummy's face. And it has kind of like the feel of punching a human face. That's kind of what this guy is. You practice on it to kind of work out your own kinks. And remember, you're not trying to get great drawings out of this, you're trying to understand. You're going to understand something new every time you sit down and do these. And if you really take it seriously, you can grow your ability to concentrate on these and your ability to observe the same way that you would grow muscles from working out at the gym. And that is a habit and a work ethic I want people to use to exercise. So that's another thing. Like I want people to work on their work ethic on this stuff this week, in addition to everything else we're doing. So get as much as you can. I mean, like I don't want anybody to burn themselves out or anything like that, but try exercising your work ethic this week to do these kinds of studies regularly, like going to the art gym. Okay, Google, how much time left on timer? Okay, Google, how much time left on timer?
There's 1 minute and 42 seconds left.
Awesome. Alright, we're at a good time. And it looks like somebody's iPad is dying. I think like, 3 hours, iPads usually get around 3 hours of use or something. Or is it longer? I actually have an iPad here that I've been using to hold my cheat sheet stuff. Oh good, it's 100%. So I have it plugged in. Maybe you add a new scene in your OBS. Each scene is a different layout for different classes. Well, yeah, of course. It's not a bad idea. There's a lot of troubleshooting in channel stuff I want to maybe go over next week. Oh shoot. I think speaking of placement of features, the mouth is looking placed a little off right now, to me. So I'm going to do a little red draw over here, kind of fix my own error, or make a note of it to fix it later, because we're just about out of time. So, homework. So this is the end of our semester, but you have homework this week that I want you to do. Okay, Google, stop. The homework is 1. 5-pose head drawing of a sorrow head. Do these studies multiple times to get better at them. Spend 1 hour or a half an hour or more than if you really need to slow down and try to exercise correcting them and doing better each time you do them. 2. Loose 1 to 3 pages loose loose Asaro head sketches. Take printouts or files of the Asaro head photos and practice from them freely and loosely. You can simplify them or use just a few things from them. You are free to play with them and get whatever value you want to shoot for from them. 3. Start 1 to 3 pages. Asaro face drawovers. Take Asaro head photos and draw over the top of them, finding rhythms of the lines of the face and using simple shapes to help break down and understand the forms of the head, i.e. Loomis, spheres, boxes, etc. Some of these studies should look like tracing at least as far as the plane line drawovers go. But try to think about the photo 3-dimensionally as you draw over it. There you go. That's the homework for this week. Let me put that up on the big screen. There you go. Alrighty. So, thank you all for coming. Yeah? What?
You said that I created a program that allows you to create a window separately from one that you were drawing on.
Yeah, OBS. I can make different scenes and stuff for streaming to Twitch. That's what I'm using right now, actually. But I'm going to be working on setting up more better organized scenes and better organized layout for Twitch next week. Anyway, let me see if there's any additional questions before we get done.
Thank you for answering my question.
Yeah, what was the question again?
Oh, it was basically I was basically asking I'm sorry, I'm trying to word the question again. I was just basically asking since I wasn't having fun with the Riley's head method, I should just basically still be open to learning it, right?
Yeah.
That was my.
No, it's a really Riley method is really fun. I would actually maybe consider, if you're having trouble with it, take some well done Riley method drawings and try either copying the Riley method heads themselves, or like drawing on top of them. That will help you wrap your head around them.
Okay. And I asked that because I was kind of feeling intimidated by all the methods of drawing, and
the thing is like these methods I've been going over, we're going to be doing them all again next semester. So in these methods, you're supposed to return to them over and over again. So you shouldn't feel intimidated by them because these are methods that you're going to revisit. You're not supposed to be good at them right out of the gate. You're supposed to just learn a little bit more about them every time we go into them. So it's totally okay to like, oh my god, there's so much going on here. Well, it's your first introduction to this. You're not going to master this right away. It's going to take you like several months, several years, in fact, to really get it, to really digest it. And there's nothing to be scared of there. You're at the earliest starting gate on this journey, and it's nothing to be scared of. We're gonna just trust in the process and stick with it, and you'll get there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello?
Start.
What's that? Anyway, I guess we're just about ready to wrap up here. I'll just do one final plug for my my Ko-fi page. So my page, I'm going to link it in chat again. Hopefully we can make the goal of me buying an Asaro head. That'd be really nice. I can use that for next semester as a teaching tool. So I'm going to link that in chat and in Twitch chat and in Discord. And if you want to support me and help me run these classes better, yeah, that would be much appreciated. Anyway, yeah, thank you all for coming. We've now made it to the congratulations screen. I hope you all enjoyed this. If you have sat through drawing all 5 of these Asaro heads, or struggled to try to draw your first time doing these Asaro heads, then congratulations. You've put in your artwork out for the day. And we're at the end now for the day, so have a good rest. Maybe keep drawing if you feel fired up. But yeah.
Hey, before you go, when does the next semester start?
I'm not sure yet. I might have like a 2 to 3 week break, but we're gonna keep meeting for workshops. I'm just gonna announce. I actually might. I'm probably going to keep the next time slot open because I like the rhythm I have where each Monday I study something intensely and then I try to regurgitate it to people. So I might do another head drawing class next week, but we'll see.
Awesome, thank you.
I'm going to try to feel things out, basically. I've got some revisioning to go, but I really like the way things are going for the head drawing thing. I hope I can get something like that going for the figure drawing class too, because I'm going to have a separate figure drawing class in addition to the head drawing one.
Thanks for the lesson. It went really well.
Congratulations! Congratulations!
Thanks for class. You guys.
Congratulations!
Congratulations.
Thank you for
Congratulations!
class.
Congratulations. 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 Congratulations.
Congratulations!
Congratulations.
Congratulations! Thank you all.